problem that I see with producers is that they create all this great music, and the only time you would get to hear it is when you're with that artist in the studio at like 2 a.m. in the morning.
So true. How are we doing today? My name is Jalen Carr, founder of After Party, and we're here on our latest artist spotlight, Little Man's 4 Tunes. First off, how are you doing today?
I'm great, man. I woke up this morning, so I'm great. You know,
that's
a flex that a lot of people don't get to say.
Little do they know, we've known each other for I don't know how many years. 10 plus at least at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm happy to have you today.
I'm happy.
You want to introduce yourself real quick?
I am 4 Tunes. I am a young DJ from Brooklyn, New York, and I've been DJing, producing for the last 10 years.
So you said 10 years, that's probably
10 years.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
You're telling me like, 13, 14 years old, that's when you really started.
Yeah, man, my dad, he's a DJ, and I remember it's very vivid to me. He was DJing upstairs in my house, and I was just so interested about what was making that loud noise.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
I went upstairs, and he just taught me from there. There was another DJ that helped me. His name is Mr. Clean, DJ Mr. Clean.
Okay. Where's he based out of?
He's Brooklyn as well. He and my dad are really close. And they just taught me everything I know.
And you become a student yourself from that?
Yeah, man. I was always interested with sampling and how someone can take this 2-second clip and make a whole song,
beat.
a whole beat.
What I mean?
But it's just more than that. It's like this whole feeling and this whole energy that people would get from it, because it's 2 seconds.
Yeah. Like, literally, it could be the shortest clip.
How did you create this whole? It blows my mind.
Do you think that? Like, I'm curious, like, do you think, like, your own, like, upbringing, some of the genres that you grew up listening to, that has made you more akin to, like, hearing some samples? Because I feel like most of the samples we hear today, like, I mean, you could talk about the whole drill thing, that's completely different, but you know what I mean? Like, but, like, if we're talking, like, samples in, like, the modern era, like, a lot of these samples come from, like, like, soul, Motown, like, 1970s, 1980s, so it's, like, that's music we, like, I mean, I know you can probably say the same thing,
right?
Like, that's music, like, Sunday mornings when people are cleaning the house,
right?
Like, that's music that's on.
2 things. For the trap and the drill people like today who sample everything, really love it.
Yeah.
Because I remember there was a time where I was talking to my boys about how do I become a bigger producer, right?
Yeah.
And I still sample because I'm a huge sampler. It's like, it's my bread and butter.
Great, yeah. It's great to hear, your style. Exactly.
Yeah. So it was all these conversations about, how much of a sample can you use? Would the person who hears this, how much can they sue you for, and stuff like that? And I'm hearing these people sample like Mariah Carey and put it online. And I heard like one of the songs that's just like, I thought it was like a meme or just like something that's gonna be on Instagram for like 2 seconds. It was on the radio.
Yeah.
And it's like a big sample. I don't know if they cleared it or not, but it was amazing to see that. It was like, wow, you can do this.
I'm trying to think, like, even in the past year, like, I mean, Shawnee Bin Laden, obviously, he's probably like sample king, you know what I mean? Like, Lauryn Hill sample, obviously, like, that was the one that kind of like put it on the map, but it's like crazy to see, like, now it's just like any throwback song you can think of, like, you hear it on the drill beat and stuff.
Yeah.
Throwback, nostalgia.
Yeah. I think it's cool, and I think everything is gravy, and I think everything is cool.
Yeah.
It becomes a problem when you don't give homage, whatever it is, to the person who made it,
Exactly.
or just like a shout out or whatever, just to clear it up.
Yeah,
from an early age, my pops and my mom, whenever I went to school, they would drive me to school and stuff like that. They would play Michael Jackson, James Brown, Run DMC, Nina Simone, and they would play a lot of they play some soca and like some dancehall from here and there and stuff like that. So growing up, this was like what I listened to. So when I told people like in my class, did you guys hear that new James Brown?
Yeah.
Like, what?
He's like, dude,
what are you talking about? Yeah. So whenever, not all the time, but often when I DJ, I would always connect the two by playing the original and then playing the version that has the thing of it. So I've been doing that at parties for a while.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, it just, it became ingrained. Like, now it's a series with over millions of views on TikTok, you know what I mean?
Some of the songs you can't display how it was built at a party. No one really wants to hear, sometimes.
Yeah.
When you're at like the peak of a party and you're listening to like Playboy Cardi and like Pop Smoke, no one wants to hear how you took through the fire and make it into through the wire.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to hear that. So there has to be another platform where you can display that and educate people without it being a what's the word?
Well, disruption.
Disruption in the flow and energy of actual party. You know. So
I got you. Yeah, man. I mean, just like pivoting a little bit. Kind of talk about your time with Serato. I mean, like Serato Academy has been, a starting and platform for so many DJs.
Yeah, bro.
I mean, if you're not hip to Serato, like definitely tap in. You should probably know by now.
Right.
You kind of want to explain kind of just like what got you into that. How did you get involved?
So, ever since I started DJing, Serato was the platform that you used. That was like the go-to.
Exactly.
You know. And I've just been using it for years before they reached out to me. They saw one of my videos, and the main guy in New Zealand, he hit me up, and he said, I love what you do. You're really displaying the functionality of the controller, what you can do with it, and it's just at the time it was just something brand new.
Yeah.
And they hit me up.
You were using like a new controller? Or like,
no,
like,
same
one you
the
had.
Same one I've been using for like years, you know, and it's I'm baffled by it because it was such a beautiful time, and it's like a Cinderella story, you know? It's like something that you are still doing and were doing just because you loved it and you just wanted to educate people. And you get recognized by these big people, and it doesn't give me any validity, but it was so great to be recognized by the company that used it, you know?
Yeah, I was gonna say just in general. It's like you were Nikes your whole life, and then like
you gotta get something.
You're like, wow, like it's like
wow.
Maybe these shit's right.
Right.
Maybe I was wearing the right Nikes.
Right. Yeah. It didn't make me feel like I'm the best DJ ever now. It just felt like that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, that's a cool feeling. And then I did a content series with them for I think like 4 months. And then my boy Derek, DJ Destruct, he hit me up and he said that I would be a perfect fit from the Serato Academy.
Yeah.
Serato Academy, it's a mentoring program from the people at Serato, like the artist relations who work there and stuff like that, from all over the world.
I was about to say, I mean, they're like they're like probably the biggest DJ platform in the world. Yeah.
So it's DJ Destruct, OP, shout out to OP, Sonny James, Cut Corners, and they had like guest people come in and just educate us about the software, how to scratch, how to maneuver through the DJ world and stuff like that, how to protect your ears. There was a session where they went through the.
I was gonna say, go explain now.
So it was a, I think 6-month program. I think I started like in June, July, and it ended in November.
What year is that?
This was last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And each session was just a way to big up DJs, you know.
Yeah.
So they brought in, I forgot his name. Oh my gosh, because I missed that one. But they brought in like some famous DJs to talk to us and stuff like that. They brought in a therapist, like an audio therapist, to talk about what you should do to maneuver through DJing, how much sleep you should get, what mindset you should have when you're approaching art and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It felt like an X-Men type of thing, because it was just like select from like all around the world. It was like 7 of us.
It was literally the elite. Like, you know what I mean?
And I felt so honored to be in their presence and like so many other dope DJs and stuff like that. And I was like, damn, I have a lot to learn, you know?
I was gonna say that was like my kind of second question. Like, do you think like being involved with Serato Academy kind of like has changed the trajectory of like your DJing in any way? Like, have you like learned some things that you didn't know before?
Technique-wise, there's 2 DJs who can scratch their ass off inside the class, and when I saw them do it live, I was like, I gotta practice.
I gotta learn this.
I gotta practice more. I was like, it's so cool. It's like a sprinkle.
Little salt.
Little salt, you know? Because you can switch between songs and get people hyped and stuff like that, but when you scratch, it's like, oh, what is that?
Yeah.
Just like it's a salt.
Yeah.
Some food don't need salt, but when you put salt in, it's like, oh,
it's a little better. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You know? So
That's awesome, man. I gotta talk about your first beat tape that just released in December, Cookie Crumbs. We worked a little bit on that as well. But just give me like kind of like the process with that. And kind of like segue, like, do you have big plans for like the next year? Like, obviously you dropped that at the end of last year, so it's still kind of like still fresh.
Yeah. The process of it, all the beats that were on that project were beats I made in my first bedroom and my second bedroom, and it was just random ideas I had when I was just in those two spaces.
Yeah.
And I put them online. A problem that I see with producers is that they create all this great music, and the only time you would get to hear it is when you're with that artist in the studio at like 2 a.m. in the morning.
So true.
And you're playing them beats, and you play like this most fire thing. You got this shiny sample of using issues that you never heard of before.
Yeah.
And then
my man's got the harp going crazy.
Right, you got the harp going crazy and like arpeggiating to like the, and then the artist is like next,
and you're
next,
like,
you never hear it again. And it's just like it's a disservice, and I really don't like how it's just sitting on a hard drive somewhere. You know, and you won't even go back to it until an artist is with you in that studio. So all the beats that I had that on the tape, I felt really excited when I made it. I was like, yo, this is great. Someone has to hear this. Yeah. So I recorded myself making the beat.
I was gonna say also that was a sick like element you had too. Like every single beat that you released, you also had yourself like a video. You know, like, recording and making the beat.
That's another thing I learned too. There's so many ways to get it. You know, so if you want sales in terms of beat making, you don't always have to put up beat after beat after beat after beat and hopefully someone can find it, because sometimes that doesn't work. You could go into making beats for TV shows or commercials, or you can get a score,
there's so many possibilities, you know what I mean?
So many possibilities, but you wouldn't know this until you know your purpose or why you're doing this.
You gave us all the knowledge right now. You know? Like, I'd be like, I gotta go get a mix like right after this, you know what I mean? But I mean, thank you for sitting down with us.
Of course,
you know, just walking us through your whole like DJ experience. Before we leave, if you want to plug anything in, talk about Cookie Crumbs, where to get it.
Gotcha. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, blackproducers.com at thisisfortunes, THISFORTUNES. And Cookie Crumbs is out now on SoundCloud and Bandcamp.
I'm happy we did this. Thanks for having me. That wraps up the latest Artist Spotlight. It's your man Jalen Carr, founder of After Party, and we'll see you on the next one.